Sturgis wants us to know,
Sturgis,
that you're wrong about Alyssa Mercante's lawsuit because he read it in that Park Place.
You're wrong, bud.
You wrong. Alyssa Mercante legal team scrambles to defend SmashJT lawsuit as Ron Coleman's motion to dismiss stands strong. Wow, that's a lot of words for not really what's going on. So Ron Coleman put in a motion to dismiss, and then Alyssa Mercante's lawyers put in their response to the motion, and that's basically where we're at. Like the judge hasn't ruled.
There's the spin.
Yeah, it's like they send in a motion. They get to answer the motion. The judge then decides. Like it's nothing is standing anything. It's just a motion.
Hello, everyone. I'm Renown Zero. We are back again talking about the Alyssa Mercante versus SmashJT lawsuit, as it seems that Alyssa Mercante's legal team is now scrambling to defend against this law.
Scrambling. They're scrambling, TJ.
Scrambling, bud.
They literally just put in a response the other day, the 28th. Literally, there was no scramble. They didn't ask for like an extension. They didn't miss the deadline. They didn't like put a bunch of hibbity. It is a fairly concise response and everything. So again, buzzwords, right? You got to spin, like you said, you got to put that spin on there. Scrambling,
sensationalizing,
Lawsuit against SmashJT due to Ron Coleman's motion to dismiss standing strong. Now, if you know,
standing strong. Does he again? What happens to just simple reporting? Alyssa Mercante responds to motion to dismiss. Lawsuit waits for judge to rule on it. Right? That's because that's what we're at.
Obviously, Alyssa Mercante has been trying to sue SmashJT for defamation and harassment, which talking about you and making videos talking about you is not harassment.
Yeah, that's not what she's suing. What? I swear to God, these people aggravate the shit out of me. It's like read
the fine print, read the papers, damn it.
Yeah, read what she's suing for. She's not suing for mean words or because she made some videos. She's suing for some very specific things that were said. Right? It's like the Riley shit all over again. He trespassed. Yeah, but he didn't get arrested for that. No, that's why he's in jail for trespassing. Like, no, like clearly the
papers here repeated online communications.
Yeah, it's like can you read?
Yeah.
Like you can't. It's like you can't argue with them because they're arguing something completely different, right? It's like that's not what.
It's like they're in a whole different reality.
Yeah, so weird. Okay, so I'm not harassing Sturgis. None of us are. Yeah, none of us.
Apparently, none of us are.
Because SmashJT is not sending his audience to go harass you. If they decide to
go, wow. It has nothing to do with it. Oh my God, Jesus Christ! Now he's like, Smash didn't send his audience, so you're not being harassed.
Go on their own to, say something to you or talk to you while you're streaming. If you're streaming or go into any comment section where you're making a video, that's not on SmashJT. He does not control his audience. No YouTuber controls their audience. Obviously,
I control my audience. Yeah, but I control my audience. You guys listen to what I say. When I say jump, you don't even ask how high. You just do it and hope I'm happy.
As content creators, we would expect that people don't do these things.
I want this case thrown out, your bud ship.
Your bud ship.
Actual news isn't on the menu at that Park Place. Yeah,
true. Yellow journalism.
And, if it happens, it happens. We can't control it. But I think it's absolutely hilarious how she continues to go on and say that SmashJT continues to harass her as she continues to talk about SmashJT constantly on her Blue Sky and her Twitter account. So let's get into this article here, though, by that Park Place. Alyssa Mercante legal team scrambled.
I love how it has to fucking highlight everything.
To defend SmashJT lawsuit as Ron Coleman's motion to dismiss stands strong. The legal battle between YouTube personality SmashJT and former Kotaku senior editor Alyssa Mercante has taken another turn. Mercante's legal team from the firm Cohen & Green filed a response to SmashJT attorney Ron Coleman's motion to dismiss her lawsuit. However, based on the arguments presented, it appears they could be grasping at straws in a desperate attempt to keep the lawsuit alive.
Okay, based on what? He said, however, based on the arguments presented, it appears they could be grasped. I could say, according to the argument presented by Smash, he's fucking retarded and his lawyer's stupid. That's a spin. Like, you have to give me what she said, and then you have to give me a legal analysis on it as to why you feel, in your expert legal opinion or layman's legal opinion, why it has no veracity, right?
And one of the things that Alyssa McConaughey believes that SmashJT is defaming her about is how she got into the gaming industry, even though from her own admission, she did cam work back in the day and did.
She did what? Did he say something and then had to like cut it out, TJ? Listen to this.
Gaming industry, even though from her own admission, she did cam work back in the day and did some
back in the day.
And then he cut, right? Look at that.
Things to get into the gaming industry. Full disclosure.
Did he fucking Sturgis, you can put a tweet on that says dick.
That's crazy.
Could you imagine? Hold on.
Back in the day and did some spicy things.
So he shows this, right? I sucked.
Did some spicy things, bud.
Just, you don't have, like, he went out of his way to block the word dick. Does he think showing the word dick is somehow like going to get him flagged on YouTube?
To get into the gaming industry. Full disclosure, YouTube personality SmashJT is represented in this case against Alyssa McConaughey by Ron Coleman and the Coleman Law Firm. One of the key arguments of McConaughey's response is an attempt to establish jurisdiction in New York where the lawsuit is filed. Her lawyers claim, quote, defendant's statements were broadcast from a location that falls within this court's jurisdiction. However, this directly contradicts what Coleman laid out in his motion to dismiss.
However, this directly contradicts what the other things. Yeah, no shit. My lawyer says we have jurisdiction. Your lawyer is obviously going to say the opposite. He's making it sound like Coleman's the authority, right? Like, well, this contradicts what Coleman said, and he's obviously the one who's correct. So, right, like you're coming from a place of Coleman and Smash are correct. So clearly, her saying this is wrong, right? And again, that's bad reporting.
Coleman previously argued that there are no allegations and there could be none that SmashJT conducts business in New York. No, he conducts business in California. His motion cited.
I love how confidently he said it. No, conducts business in California.
It established legal precedent that, quote, placing allegedly defamatory content on the internet and making it accessible to the public does not constitute the transaction of business in New York, even when it's likely that the material will be read by New Yorkers, because of course it's the internet.
Take a breath, Sturgis.
Yeah, this is what he wrote, but again, they made they filed a response to the motion, and in the response, Alyssa's lawyers tell you why they believe it is New York jurisdiction, right? So I'm wondering if they're going to actually go through, because we're going to go through it, but I'm wondering if they're actually going to say why, or if they're just going to like completely not give you any of the Alyssa's side.
It's fast. Word spreads fast. Information spreads fast in this new era of the internet. Despite this, Mercante's legal team attempts to sidestep the jurisdictional issue by falsely claiming that Hypnocast, a broadcast featuring SmashJT, which it's mostly a podcast that features Hypnotic. You could argue that SmashJT is a part of Saturday Night Hypnosis, but Hypnocast sometimes brings him on, but for the most part, it's just Hypnotic himself. Was conducted from a location under New York jurisdiction. No, it wasn't. However, SmashJT has confirmed that the claim is untrue, as Hypnotic, the host of Hypnocast, does not reside in New York. This blatant misrepresentation of facts further weakens Mercante's already precarious case. False claims about private.
So Hypnotic does not live in Long Island? Is that what we're...
Information disclosure. Another significant issue.
Also, that's not like the only, so that she does, the lawyer does mention that, right? But that's not even the entire, that's like the last thing. That's like oh, by the way type thing in the argument. It's not this is my argument.
In Mercante's response is the accusation that SmashJT exposed her private address. No, actually, that was Alyssa Mercante that redacted her private address in the lawsuit paperwork while exposing SmashJT's address in the lawsuit paperwork. The filing states defendant disclosed plaintiff's residential address, placing her at risk. Here's where it shows that plaintiff Alyssa Mercante is a resident of the state of New York.
So I'm looking at the there's several things. So again, this is like they're picking and choosing certain things, right?
Yeah.
But they're not like giving you the entire context, right? So let me see. Let me get to the thing about the address. It says plaintiff is not claiming the personal details like her address and so on that the defendant shared are false, nor is she solely claiming reputational harm from the harassment. That's literally the only time that she uses the word address in that context. Okay. The word address it appears 7 times in the document, but most of the times is the plaintiff would like to address the court, right? Because address and address are spelled the same, right? So this statement that Sturgis is reading here, the filing states defendant disclosed plaintiff's residential address, placing her at risk. It's not in the response. The response is the accusation, right? No. It's not in there.
And the County of Kings. Alyssa Mercante's address is redacted, so that means it's not there, it's not shown, herein due to threats made against her as the basis of this lawsuit, but such information will be revealed to the court in camera. She may be served with any process through her counsel of record identified below. This is a particularly glaring claim given that Mercante herself revealed SmashJT's home address in the publicly available lawsuit filing while redacting her own. This action led to accusations that she deliberately exposed his private information while ensuring hers remains protected, which is a move.
Which is a move. It's a move, TJ. It's a move. I don't know what kind of move because,
the jump cut.
Yeah.
Her part. Meanwhile, no specific instance has been presented where SmashJT allegedly revealed her residential address. Without verifiable evidence, this argument appears to be an attempt to paint herself as a victim while shifting scrutiny away from her actions.
This person suing the other person is claiming to be a victim. Yeah, that's what a lawsuit is.
That's the whole point.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's why she's suing, because she thinks she's a victim.
She's been
Good
victimized.
job.
Yes.
Good job, Park Place. You figured out. You cracked the code.
In what may be the most baffling argument, Mercante's legal team attempts to claim that the court has jurisdiction over the case because SmashJT's website is hosted by Wix.com, a company with an office in Manhattan. Their filing states, quote, Wix.com, which hosts the defendant's website, has its primary office in New York, giving this court authority over the matter. I still don't think that gives them authority over the matter. This reason...
I love it. He still doesn't think that. TJ, his great, the great legal mind that is Sturgis is chimed in.
I don't think so, bud.
I don't think that's how that works. Yeah. So here's again. This is where they, they're taking liberties, right? So the filing states Wix.com, which hosts defendant's website, has its primary office in New York, giving this court authority over the matter. Right? Guess what, TJ?
Go on.
Would you like to guess whether or not that is an actual quote?
Coming out of that Park Place now.
So that Park Place has it right there as a quote. Their filing states, quote, Wix.com, which hosts defendant's website, has its primary office in New York, giving this court authority over the matter. End quote. That's in quotations, which means it has to be an exact quote.
Yes.
From
word by word.
Word by word. Okay. Okay. So
I'll be nice
Here's
and say yes.
Here's the actual statement.
Uh-oh.
Okay. The actual statement. First off, it doesn't start with the word Wix.com. Wix.com is in the middle of the sentence. Okay. So here's what it actually says. It says, first, defendant's argument the court lacks jurisdiction is odd because defendant's website, where he has made some of the statements at issue is in the defamation claims, is hosted by Wix.com, which has its primary office in Manhattan. Period. And Wix's terms of service have a New York court choice of venue and jurisdiction, noting any litigation relating to Wix's services, quote, shall be brought in and you hereby consent to them being decided exclusively by a court of competent jurisdiction located in New York, New York, end quote. So, by choosing Wix as his hosting platform with its venue and choice of law clause, defendant has, quote, purposefully availed himself of the privilege of conducting activities within the forum state, end quote, and, quote, invoke the benefit and protections of its laws, end quote. In the case of Giannetti versus Johnson, which is what they're citing, that is, there were purposeful business transactions having taken place in New York, giving rise to the cause of action and jurisdiction. In Ligros versus Irving, jurisdiction over an out-of-state individual who only emailed, phone, fax, and mailed in New York. For the non-defamation claims, things are easier. So you see how I read all of that, TJ, and I still have not gotten to the part of giving the court authority over this matter.
Right. Taking shit out of context, lying and implying, you know.
TJ, literally that sentence, giving this court authority over the matter, does not exist.
Oh, wow. Adding shit too. God damn.
Literally, not in the entire filing. So this quote isn't even a real fucking quote from the response. There's this right here, the Wix.com, which hosts the defense website, has its primary office in New York. That is from the response. That's it. Giving this court authority over the matter, not even in the fucking response at all. Also, that's a partial quote because the real quote has a whole fucking sentence before the Wix.com part, right? But this is supposed to be good journalism, guys. This is supposed to be a legitimate website.
This isn't yellow journalism at all.
Yeah. Did they even add ellipses like when you're trying to run this scam and not cheat? No.
No.
That's what I'm saying.
And people are wondering why, like we're on this, like they think we're siding with the Lisa Marcante. No, these people over here are lying. Look at this shit.
It's again just blatant lies. Like you don't have to lie. You could just tell the truth. This is what she argued. Here's why I believe her argument will fall apart. Like literally, they're trying to present Mercante's lawyers as being like these incompetent fools that don't know nothing. And if you look at the response, they're like citing precedents and cases, right? They're like, here's case law that sides with us. Again, they're going to be so fucking blindsided when this motion doesn't get dismissed, right? If it doesn't get dismissed for jurisdiction, right? They're going to be like, oh my God, this is bullshit. And the courts obviously just believe her because she's a woman and there's a bunch of liberals and there's a bunch of woke bullshit and they just hate SmashJT. And I bet the judge is a simp, right? Because why? They haven't been given the actual information because people like that Park Place are giving you incorrect information. So you're believing that the case is being handled wrong because you're being misinformed, purposefully misinformed to get you angry. This is why I have issues with that, right? As someone who's actual journalist, as someone who's actually, done things and wrote articles and had to go through reviews and, dot the I's, cross the T's, so I don't get sued. This kind of shit really pisses me off, right? This is my wheelhouse, and you're fucking it all up.
Giving this court authority over the matter. I still don't think that gives them authority over the matter. This reasoning is deeply flawed and ignores Coleman's arguments from the motion to dismiss. As Coleman previously pointed out, jurisdiction requires that the defendant have actual business ties to the location in question. The idea that using a web hosting service with an office in New York grants jurisdiction would set a dangerous precedent where any website hosted by a company with multiple office locations could be sued anywhere. That makes perfect sense to me.
That makes perfect sense to me. Of course it does, Sturgis.
If applied broadly, this would mean that entities using Google, Amazon Web Services, or any other major hosting platform could be sued in whatever jurisdiction their headquarters happen to be in. The attempt to manufacture legal standing here is weak at best.
Yeah, it's weak at best based on the false argument that you presented that she's making. It's actually really strong based on the actual argument that she's making, and we'll get into it.
Response from Mercante's legal team appears to be more of a reactionary measure than a structured legal argument because her legal team sucks.
See, because her legal team sucks. According to Sturgis, again, the brilliant legal mind. Remember, I was here, just so we understand, I was here arguing with an actual lawyer, and when the smoke cleared, me, correct, actual lawyer, incorrect. Nick Rekieta, no jail time. Free man. Law couch, completely wrong. When it came to the Riley thing, law couch, also wrong. Tony, also correct.
That's right. Free Mickey Rackets.
I mean, it doesn't take a genius, right? It just takes you to be objective and to look at the actual facts and to actually analyze it based on the merits of the case. Not any emotional investment, not any preconceived notions of who's right and wrong. Actually looking at what the arguments are being made by the lawyers and whether or not they hold water in a court of law, right? It's that simple.
In what may be the clearest sign of uncertainty, they state, quote, plaintiff intends to amend her complaint to address new post-filing conduct. This signals a last-ditch effort to keep the Mercante lawsuit afloat by shifting the focus to newer allegations rather than...
No, I don't think that's what that means. Let me see. What was the exact quote here that they're using? Plaintiff intends to amend her complaint to address new post-filing conduct. I don't know, TJ.
It's like making up shit. They're not even quoting anymore. Like they don't even quote or take shit out of context. They just come up with shit. That's crazy.
So it says, a plaintiff intends to exercise her amendment as of right under Rule 15A1B, both to address some of what defendant raises and to address some post-filing conduct that bears on the claims. Again, completely butchering the actual sentence in the fucking argument and trying to spin it into something that it's not. Okay. That sentence does not fucking exist in the fucking lawsuit. Does not exist anywhere. And again, that's at the beginning. That's not even at the end. That's at the beginning of this whole thing. Filing, right?
Plaintiff intends to amend her complaint to address new post-filing conduct. This signals a last-ditch effort to keep the Mercante lawsuit afloat by shifting the focus to newer allegations rather than standing by the original claims. The original claims stating that SmashJT defamed her and lied about her doing cam work and spicy stuff.
No, that's not what...
Spicy stuff, bud.
The lawsuit doesn't claim anything about cam work or doing spicy stuff.
Prostitution, Sturgeon.
Yeah, it's literally, it's so funny because literally, TJ, in this filing, okay, literally, they go, we don't care that he called her a whore. We care that he accused her of sucking dick for money. Like literally. So.
To get into the gaming industry, which are posted by Mercante herself in tweets. Constantly amending a complaint suggests that the initial filing was not as solid as they initially believed. And
constantly amending, they didn't do any amendments. So how could it be? Even if they amend it now, that would just be one. Constantly would is giving you the impression that they've done this several times already, right? So again, this is all spin.
Now they're scrambling to find something, anything to hold on to. This latest filing reinforces the idea that the Mercante SmashJT lawsuit is built on unstable ground.
Not really. Again, someone puts a motion to dismiss, and then you file your response to that motion, why you think that the motion to dismiss should not go through, right? That's the legal process. That's how the court system works. When one side puts in a motion, the other side puts a response to that motion, right? I'm putting in a motion to move venue, to have a change of venue. My response to that change of venue motion, either, yeah, go ahead, or no, here's why I don't want to change of venue, right? Here, I have a motion to dismiss. Here's my response to that. I have a motion to lower the charges based on X, Y, and Z. Here's my response to that, right? That's called the legal. Why do people not understand how the court system works, TJ?
Why are they pontificating while they don't know how the court system works?
This is, their knowledge of the court system is just because they watched Law and Order one time, and the guy went in there. They go, "You're guilty." They go, "See, that's how it works. You just go there, you show up to court one day, and they just fucking throw the book at you."
Her legal team is relying on misrepresentations, weak jurisdictional claims, and attempts to reframe the case rather than presenting a strong fact-based argument because she really has no facts to present that he's defaming her. He has the facts, however, to show that she did indeed do cam work and did some spicy things in order to get into the gaming industry. Tweets that she put out herself on her own Twitter account. Meanwhile, Ron Coleman's motion to dismiss remains a formidable challenge, positioning SmashJT in a strong defensive stance. And of course, it's because of Alyssa Mercante why SmashJT is over 100,000 subs, because typically when you're in a controversy with a like her, that's kind of what happens. As this case unfolds,
I love, does he not realize?
He has all the quote, but
by deleting all of his swears and stuff, it's like I have no clue what the hell he just said about her. With a her, like a what? A cunt, a bitch, a whore. What are we aiming at here?
Becomes increasingly clear that Mercante and her team are struggling to justify the lawsuit's continuation, with her legal arguments unraveling and Coleman's expertise in full force. His expertise in the matter of free speech law. This case may not have much longer to stand. And it's really terrible that this man had to basically dump his kid's college fund in order to fund this, and then, of course,
It's terrible that someone said mean things and factually incorrect statements about somebody, and when they were asked to stop, they continue to do so, and now they have to pay a lawyer to defend their dumbass. It's really, really terrible.
So what happened
later on, and I'm sure she was super surprised that this man got the funding he needed in order to countersue her dumb.
He thinks Smash is countersuing, TJ. I swear to God, this is how dumb these fucking people are. Smash isn't countersuing anybody. He's being sued. He offered a response to the lawsuit, which was a motion to dismiss.
So, honestly, she should just drop it, in my opinion. He's never defamed you. He's only used your words against you. You constantly talk about him behind blocks on Blue Sky and on Twitter, and then claim you're being harassed. Even though
that's what Sad Man is talking about.
SmashJT. What?
It's not that she's blocked. She privated her Twitter. Alyssa. How do you know,
I'm torn between him saying bitch, whore, or slut. You aren't allowed to sue for harassment because more people are going to attack you. Exactly, Dickinson. Sturgis, attorney at law. He's got it. It's bizarre, they think, because someone pointed out their behavior, that all future instances don't count. Law and Order, plus having AI read articles about it, and they're lying about the lawsuit. Yeah. He could have taken the messages down. Her Twitter is private. That's the thing. She got they sent a cease and desist to Smash, and basically he just had to just stop, but he couldn't help himself because he was getting too much money, too much clout, too much attention for it. Now it's going to bite him in the ass, I think.
Too much ass pats from the zeros.
Yeah,
that's all it takes.
And I think Ubisoft also sent him a C&D, right?
Yeah,
because Ubisoft sent McDizzle a C&D and Smash from my understanding, because of the images showed about the fake leak or whatever. You're basically like, hey, take those fake leak images down. So I'm pretty sure Smash, again, did not take the fake video down or the images. So Ubisoft could be suing Smash pretty soon. So he could be in a second lawsuit. Let's see. I know, yeah, Ubisoft just sent me a cease and desist. This is how fucking dumb Smash is.
Oh, wow. You pulled off a Sturgis.
Yeah. So
Pino laughed at it, bud.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We're going to read his article. He made an article about the C&D. So that's got to be great.
Only talks about you in reference to when you start talking about him. So you clearly have no case. You should just let it go. Take your L. Move on. You already got basically fired from Kotaku, allegedly. And
allegedly,
you have nothing really going for you moving forward outside of maybe a small Twitch channel that you're trying to start up to try to teach SmashJT how to be a true journalist, even though you were never a real journalist when it came to the Sweet Baby Inc. story where you left out the part where Carbutus was being harassed and targeted.
Oh, Carbutus was being harassed. They were saying mean things about him, bud. That's harassment.
To have his Steam account taken down and his curator group taken down. So this is a lesson in what you do not do as a journalist, as you like to call yourself, Alyssa Mercante. And now you reap what you sow.
You reap what she's not being sued, you fucking retard. You reap what you sow, bud, by suing Smash. I mean, what?
Thank you all for checking out this.
All right, so let's look at the actual response. Let's see what actually was said by Alyssa Mercante's legal team. So Smash did comply with Ubisoft. So we're not going to bother reading it. But all right, so this is the filing from Cohen and Green to the Honorable Margot K. Brody. Dear Judge Brody, my firm with co-counsel represents plaintiff in the case above. I write per the court's rules to respond to defendant. See, per the court's rules, he has to respond. It's the court's rules, guys. It's literally in the fucking process. To respond to defendant's pre-motion conference letter. As set out below, plaintiff intends to exercise her amendment as of right under Rule 15A1B, both to address some of what defendant raises and to address some post-filing conduct that bears on the claims. However, plaintiff also addresses the substance because some of the theories advanced are meritless. If the court has any preference on how to sequence amendments so as to conserve time and resources, but also allow plaintiff to fully respond to the actual theories defendant presents for dismissal, plaintiff would appreciate that guidance. All right. So defendant's personal jurisdiction arguments are meritless. First, defendant argues the court lacks jurisdiction is on because defendant's website, where he made some of the statements at issue in defamation claims, is hosted by Wix.com, which has its primary office in Manhattan. And Wix's terms of service have a New York court choice of venue and jurisdiction, noting any litigation relating to Wix's services shall be brought in, and you hereby consent to them being decided exclusively by a court of competent jurisdiction located in New York, New York. So by choosing Wix as the hosting platform with its venue and choice of law clause, defendant has purposefully availed himself of the privilege of conducting activities within the forum state and invoked the benefits and protection of its laws. Giannanetta versus Johnson, number 20, blah, 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 lots of numbers. Quoting McKee Elico versus Roland Borg, that is, there were purposeful business transactions have taken place in New York, giving rise to the cause of action and jurisdiction. Legros versus Irving, jurisdiction over an out-of-state individual who only emailed, phone, fax, and mailed into New York. For the non-defamation claims, things are easier. Geo Media, the parent company of Alyssa's former employee Kotaku, is located in New York, and the defendant conducted a harassment campaign labeled #NKotaku directed at the employees of a New York business and that New York business itself for the accomplished purpose of, among other things, ending plaintiff's career there. So I think right there is a strong enough argument, even without the Wix.com bullshit, right? Like,
right.
I worked in New York. you harassed my New York business to try to interfere with my job here, right? And on the prima facie tort stochastic harassment claims, defendant statements that he recognized the publication of private information necessarily and inevitably leads to such harassment, plus his celebratory behavior after such events occurred, shows he specifically targeted the harassment to reach plaintiff in New York. His conduct makes no sense otherwise. So what they're saying is essentially, Bud, SmashJT wanted her to suffer consequences in New York where she worked, and not just online.
And remember,
bullying.
her co-workers also caught strays from this.
Yeah. And even today, defendant continues to appear on a New York-based streaming internet program called The Hypnocast. Defendant has appeared on the Hypnocast show, which streams from the host home in Long Island, New York, at least half a dozen times, frequently discussing plaintiff. And in August of 2024, the host announced that defendant would become a permanent panel member of the weekend edition of the program, known as the Saturday Night Hypnocast. Confirming the connection to this case, where the host announced defendant's addition to the Saturday Night panel, the advertisement for the segment featured defendant flanked by mirrored, edited images of plaintiff. Defendant's presence as a permanent panel member on a New York show, one connected to his harassment of plaintiff, is for specific jurisdiction, particularly when combined with the above. Now, I think this might be strenuous at best. I don't know if Hypnotic actually lives in Long Island, but even if he does, I think unless Hypno has like an LLC or something, I don't see how this is going to hold water. I think this part right here is very tenuous, right? Because again, I like right now, you're on my show, TJ, right? But you're still in your country, right?
Right.
Like there's no, you're not here. If you were here with me,
I'm not in Chicago, you know.
Like I'm saying, like if Smash flew in to be like in studio, right? Like I would say maybe they'd
have an argument.
Water.
Yeah.
Or if Smash got paid, right? So if Hypno was giving Smash a paycheck or part of the super chats or like some sort of fee for being on the show, I think then you might have a stronger argument. But I think this is pretty weak, right? In my opinion. So I think this will maybe, like as sort of like a little extra on top, like a little whipped cream on top of the sundae. Maybe it might, but on its own, I think that'll just not stand. All right. Plaintiff states claims in a variety of torts. Defendant seeks to file a motion to dismiss, essentially exclusively briefing defamation doctrine. While some claims overlap, in particular, plaintiff's harassment and prima facie tort claims are based on separate statements and acts, not merely the same defamatory statement as the defamation claim. Plaintiff is not claiming the personal details like her address and so on that defendant shared are false, nor is she solely claiming reputational harm from the harassment. That places this case outside the, quote, narrow rule defendant cite, because where the alleged harm suffered by the plaintiff is not precisely the same as that caused by defamation, namely harm to the plaintiff's reputation, the court should decline to construe a claim as one for defamation. Cleaned up, emphasis in original collecting cases. Next, defendant inserts the word whore into the statement at issue, where the actual statements are purely factual. Alyssa Mercante was sucking dicks for money. Like what plaintiff does, sucking dicks in her off time for money. So yeah, saying that is completely different than just calling her a whore, right? While the use of the word whore as an insult might be, quote, susceptible of many meanings, the same is not true of, quote, sucking dicks for money. Seriously, TJ, were they listening to me when I was talking? Were they just copying what I said? Alyssa, I'm going to have to charge you for the consultation fee, right? For using my argument, my legal analysis of the case. That says, defendant's other arguments about substantial truth also rely on his elision. Presumably, defendant is not actually making the argument that anyone is free to accuse a woman who has multiple sexual partners of engaging in specific sex acts for money. Last, plaintiff has sufficiently pled actual malice, regardless of whether it is required. But plaintiff's planned amendments also address this, including by alleging that defendant gave necessarily false explanations by defendant for the source of his claim. Plaintiff was sucking dicks for money before working at Kotaku. Conclusion. The real question is what next? Plaintiff intends to amend to at least make the decision on the motion easier. But given the lack of content in defendant's letter, much of the purpose of Rule 15A1B is not served by an amendment without more detail on exactly why defendant thinks the complaint is ill-pled. If, for example, defendant's argument really is the sexist saw that anyone who, quote, has multiple sex partners may be freely accused of specific sex acts for money, or is an argument that defendant is so sexist he believes that, there is little need to amend. ECF number 7 at 3. On the other hand, one hopes there is a little more meat on those bones, and plaintiff would like to amend to address that meat. The court individual practices do not specify whether amendments as of right should follow a pre-motion letter or a full motion. Thus, while plaintiff intends to amend, she would appreciate the court's indication on whether it would prefer plaintiff to do so before or after a full motion, or perhaps a slightly better explained pre-motion letter. So just so we're clear, this was not a motion to dismiss. This was a pre-motion letter indicating they're going to file a motion to dismiss. So that's where it stands right now. Again, I think, we read the pre-motion letter to dismiss. That was pretty short and seemed a little shaky. So it's hard to really gauge what's going on because, again, when we get the full motion to dismiss, we can see the full argument laid bare, and then they can make their response to it in full. But right now, each side is only giving partial. So they gave a partial motion, and they gave a response to that motion. But like, hey, if they got more stuff, we'll obviously address it, but we don't know what it is that they're going to come up with, so we got to wait for them, right? So it looks like, in my opinion, my legal analysis, that they are actually going to have to go to court.